Just like heat and cold. Are they two different things? They are completely opposite. But factually they are the same thing. There is only heat and the absence of it is cold. There is no such entity called cold. There is light, we all know. Is there an entity called darkness? Darkness is only the absence of light. So what we are calling evil is the absence of God consciousness. What we are calling ability is the absence of the presence of God's ability. Now he says, I am the seed. The seed is the cause, the reason behind the plant and the tree, which emanates from it. So likewise, when God is the cause of all causes, He is then the seed. And because they are all His energies, as the energetic, He is again the seed. He says that I am the seed of all beings, and of the intelligent, I am their ability. Where did this intelligence come from? See, the acharyas, the saints, they all perceive and express. Tulsidas has done such a wonder in writing that scripture that thousands of people have done PhDs on it. But yet that ocean, more it is churned, the more nectar comes out. And Tulsidas himself admits, "Na main kiya na kari sako, sahib karata mora, karat karavat aap hai, tulsi tulsi shor." He says, look, I became an instrument and the Lord did His work through me. So the doer is Sri Ram himself. And people are saying Tulsidas, Tulsidas. They are not realizing the force behind Tulsidas. So that is what all the saints have admitted. Jo kare so hari kare, ot kabir kabir. Leave aside spiritual activities. Even in material activities, we can sometimes see how God provided the intelligence to people to do what He needed to be done. So like, for example, Swami Vivekananda had his take on this. You know, there was a time when the British Empire covered half the planet. It was the empire on which the sun never set. Of course, we don't condone all the unethical things done, etc. But Swami Vivekananda said, the purpose of the British Empire was to unite the world in one language. It was just possible that God wanted a common language for people now to interact with each other, and He empowered one empire to spread around, to provide that common language to everyone. That was Swamiji's take on it. But my own experience, when I started doing video editing, in the first time Kripaluji Maharaj lectures started going on TV in India in the year 2002. So he put me in charge of the video editing department. And in those days, we were using, the digital technology had just come in. And we were using his previous recordings that were on the VHS tapes. So those VHS tapes, there were 3 technologies prevalent in the world. One was the NTSC technology, more prevalent in the USA, and then was the PAL technology, prevalent in India and in Britain, etc. And there was the CCAM technology, prevalent in East Asian countries. So it was such a chaos when you've got material in NTSC format, how to convert it to PAL format. Now, as the computers got developed, if this kind of confusion had been there in computers as well, with 5 kinds of operating systems, I was just thinking what a mess it would have been. But God decided to make Bill Gates extremely successful whether he deserved it or he did not, but he just got selected for the job. So without realizing why, he became so amazingly successful that Windows created a common operating system around the world, so that people, this kind of interface problems are less. So he says, look, I am that brilliance in the brilliant. What kind of brilliance? One Gujarati millionaire, he went to the bank and he said, I want a loan of $5,000. So they said, for how long? He said, for 15 days. So they said, you want a loan of $5,000, can you give us a collateral? He said, I have outside my limousine, Lamborghini limousine, will that be okay for a collateral? Now this was in New York, bank in Manhattan. He said, will that be okay for a collateral? They discussed, he went to the manager said, yes, if he's giving us a car, my God, go ahead. So they gave him a loan of $5,000, and 15 days he went, traveled to India, etc., and he came back. And after 15 days, he said, I want to settle the accounts. They said, okay, $5,000 plus the interest that is accrued on it, $28. Please give us $5,000, $28. He gave it. They asked him that, sir, we have traced your background and we know that you are a multi-millionaire. So why did you need a loan for $5,000? He said, look, I was able to park my car here for $28. Where else in New York, Manhattan, will I get 15 days parking for $28? This is the ability in man. I'm just joking, but I've heard the story of Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan, when he was a child, a 12-year-old, his father wanted to test him out. And his father gave him a $1 t-shirt and asked that, in your opinion, how much is this worth? He said, $1. So his father said, you sell it for $2 and come back. So Michael Jordan went around asking, his determination was there, of course. And finally, he managed to sell it for $2, and he came and gave it to his father. His father gave him a similar t-shirt again and said, all right, now this time you sell it for $20. Let's see how you can do it. So Michael Jordan, never to admit defeat, he went around and kept on thinking, and he got somebody from his friends to print a Mickey Mouse on it. And then he stood in the market and started saying, Mickey Mouse t-shirt available for $20. Mickey Mouse t-shirt. And at the end of a few hours, he managed to sell it. So then he came back and gave it to his father. His father was again pleased. And the father gave him a third t-shirt and said, sell it for $200 and bring it back. Michael Jordan again, he was up to the task. Now what to do? So a famous Hollywood actress called Farrah Fawcett had come to that locality, and there was a crowd around her as the shooting was going on for that movie. And Michael Jordan, he was a 12-year-old, he ran up to her and he requested her to sign his t-shirt. So Farrah Fawcett could not say no to this little boy, and she signed his t-shirt. And then he went around and said, t-shirt signed by celebrity, the most beautiful lady in the world. Come on, put a price on it. So people started bidding. It went to $200, went to $1,000, and somebody purchased it for $2,000. This intelligence, where does it come from? It's not just Michael Jordan, anyone. All of us have got varieties of intelligence. So Sri Krishna says, I am that intelligence. Let me, now that we started a string of humorous stories, I've heard the story of Sam Manekshaw. So Sam Manekshaw was India's field marshal. You know, the chief of army staff usually goes to the level of general. And only 2 of those generals got promoted to the final rank, which is field marshal. One was Kariyappa, and the second was Sam Manekshaw. So there are many stories related to Sam Manekshaw. He was actually a part of the Indian battalion of the British Army in the Second World War. And there he got badly wounded. So the general sent him to the hospital to get treated, and there were so many soldiers out there who had been wounded. The doctor looked at him, and doctor had limited time, so he said there's no point wasting time on him because he's so badly wounded. But the doctor asked him, what happened to you? Sam Manekshaw said, I got kicked by a mule. And that humor of his kind of tickled the doctor. And the doctor went on to treat him. Subsequently, after independence, he was a member of the Indian Army, and he kept climbing and became chief of army staff, and then he became field marshal as well. But so many stories abound of him, and one story is said that he was going by one army establishment, and he found the guard saluting to his officer again and again, the full military salute. So he asked the officer, why is this guard saluting you again and again? And the officer said, sir, he made a mistake. I went by, and as per army regulations, he should have saluted me. He did not. To ensure that he doesn't make a mistake again, I have given him this punishment that he needs to salute me 1,000 times today. So Sam Manekshaw said, but the army regulation says that when a soldier salutes to the officer is obliged to salute back in return. So you have to respond to his saluting every time he does it. And then for the next 4 hours, everybody saw this sight of that soldier and the officer saluting each other. So this, of course, is the brilliance of the brilliant. But there's also the stupidity of the idiots. So, what do you make of people who are not brilliant? See, it means that God's ability is manifesting less out there. That is all. The Vedas don't talk a lot about a source of evil or a source of badness. They talk about a unipolar creation. It's not then God and Satan, it's only God. So, just like heat and cold, are they 2 different things? So it would seem they are completely opposite, but factually they are the same thing. There is only heat, and the absence of it is cold. There is no such entity called cold. Now go back to your middle school physics. You keep on adding heat and the temperature rises. Keep on removing the heat and the temperature goes down. Until you've removed all the heat, it goes to absolute zero. Now you can't remove any further heat. So there is heat and there is absence of it. There is light, we all know. Is there an entity called darkness? Darkness is only the absence of light. So what we are calling evil is the absence of God consciousness. What we are calling ability is the absence of the presence of God's abilities. Now I have given you examples of the brilliance of the brilliant. Now let me give you an example of the idiots. This story actually reached people via WhatsApp. The story goes, it's of Akbar and his brilliant minister Birbal. So Akbar was a Mughal emperor and Birbal was his Hindu minister, known for his sharp wit. Akbar said to Birbal that find out for me the 5 biggest idiots in our capital. So Birbal said, Huzur, it will take me 1 month's time. Akbar said, it's worth it to get this discovery. So after 1 month, Birbal brought 2 people there. And he said, Huzur, this person is the big idiot. He was sitting on a camel and he was putting the load on his head because he didn't want to burden the camel with it. So he is one idiot. Akbar said, yeah, he does qualify. And what about the other idiot? So Birbal said, Huzur, he, on the roof of his house, he had some grass growing. He was making his goat climb the roof so it could graze the grass there. Akbar said, that's also quite an idiotic thing. What about the other 3 idiots? I asked you to bring 5 idiots. He said, Huzur, I am the 3rd idiot who has spent the last 1 month wasting my time trying to find idiots for you. And Akbar said, then who is the 4th idiot? He said, Maharaj, you are the 4th idiot. But you have got nothing better to do as a king. You have people doing everything and you are just going around searching idiots. Like they say, the sign of idleness. Where you are so idle, you are just swatting flies. So you are finding idiots. Akbar, with humbleness, he used to respect Birbal and he admitted, he said, all right, Birbal, I accept what you have said, and what about the 5th idiot? So Birbal said, Huzur, the 5th idiot is he who has got so many important things to do in his home, but he is putting them aside and reading the story in WhatsApp. So whether it is a quality of brilliance or the quality of idiocy, Sri Krishna says it is the source, is always the Lord. The presence of his powers or the absence of them. This Nerolac paints in India, in those days I was studying marketing as a part of MBA, so we used to look out how do people advertise. And Nerolac paints advertisement used to be, whenever you see color, think of us. Whenever you see color, think of us. So Sri Krishna is saying that whenever you see any glories, you think of me. Oh, it is God here. So whenever you see brilliance, he has empowered this person. When you see beauty, this is Radhaji's Shakti manifesting. So in this way, try to see the presence of God everywhere. Kripaluji Maharaj says, Char achar me lakhahu apano ishta kaha nit pyare. In sentient and in insentient beings, try and see the presence of your Lord.